I use a very non-technological approach. I work on setup. I work on things like grip. Most of the people I talk to on the phone that are going to come in for a lesson, it's probably a 1% chance that they're even gripping the club correct. Maybe 1%. That's pretty tough. Chances of them actually aiming where they think they're aimed and where they're aimed are usually off by a drastic amount. My usual student is someone who's been playing 5 or 10 years and they've maxed out. They just can't get any better no matter what new clubs they've got, what new ball they're trying. With all the gadgets and the things that we have and all the technology, not one amateur has improved their handicap. So what really it comes down to is us, the PGA professionals, training our golfers, our members at clubs, or for me, I teach at a public facility, training my students how to do this right. It comes down to basics. One thing that I really try to ingrain in all my students is proper practice habits. Practice makes permanence. Practice, if you're practicing the wrong thing, you're really not going to get any better. Here's how to aim. Put the club down and develop the relationship between the face and where you want the ball to go. That is huge. That's probably the biggest thing, that I see amateurs not doing correct, or they don't do it at all. They set up and they come on over here and they never even watch where they're going. It comes down to basics, and I try to teach people a setup first. I go through a proper grip, and the big one is getting the left hand on first. And I have people take the club with the right hand so they don't try to put it on both hands at first. Put the left hand on. As you can see, I'm a big fan of keeping the webbing of the fingers close together, meaning the index and the thumb. A long left thumb puts the club in the palm. You cannot get enough speed. It's like throwing a baseball. If it's in the fingers, you can get some whip on it. And that's how the left hand is. And you do not want it in the palm, because then you're throwing a change up. And an image I use with a lot of my students is I take a nickel and I have them put it in between the webbing of the index and the thumb here. And if you can keep this nickel in there like that, we're set. That gets the club in the fingers and out of the palm. Once we get the left hand on, then we place the right hand on. Left thumb's just on the right side of the shaft. Right thumb is just on the left side of the shaft. And now we've got the club in the fingers. Proper grip. Now you've got to get used to a few things, because usually, the grip is kind of a master key in golf. If you change your grip, a lot of things, there's going to be 5 other things in the whole chain reaction of your swing that are going to change. So you have to start with the grip first. I'm a huge believer of once the grip gets correct, well, a lot of the compensations that most people have stem from a bad grip. And there's a lot of compensations because the path is off and the club face gets shut or open depending on the connection between the instrument or the club and the hands. So you get the grip on there right. That's step number 1 in my philosophy. Because if we get the grip on there, we're going to have a much higher chance of a compensation-free swing. You do not hit the ball on the backswing. You hit the ball on the forward swing. So for me, I try to take it away smooth, and I try to balance my body. And how I work on my balance is I try to hold the position until the ball hits the ground. Let's see if I can pull this off. And I stay there, and if I'm falling over, I know I've swung too much, and I kind of got that one where that was not even a teeter-totter. So that's how I work on my balance. I make sure that I can hold position until the ball hits the driving range. So you get the grip on there and the aim, and really the club and your body creates so much more of a smoother action once they're together. Keeping your head down, in my philosophy, goes under this long column of one less thing to think about. I mean, baseball, the ball's moving and it's in the air, so you do have to watch it. A tennis ball, anything. If I was catching a fly ball, I have to watch it and I have to run and react. Well, that's a moving ball and it's in the air. I've got some news for you. The golf ball is still and it's on the ground. So that's totally opposite of what I think, other sports. That's one thing I think that's completely misunderstood with golf. And so while I'm on this, here's the other guy that never gets any good. Is the guy over here with his head down, and he looks like this. And that's down, but I don't think you want to look like that guy either. That guy never gets any good. Or the practice swing, the guy that's out here practice swinging looking like this. And then they go up to hit the ball. rehearsing, that's a bad habit. So when you do that in your rehearsal, you're going to do that in your swing. All you're going to do is end up with bad form. While I'm on the head down, here's another one of my favorites I see over here at our driving range every day. So you got your buddy out and he's trying to help you, of course, So he's got you over here, keep your head down, left arm straight, inside out, and about 20 other things that you can't, So, of course, try to hit a ball, with all that going on, through your head. So, the guy hits the ball and he's over here like this, and his buddy says to him, see, you picked your head up again. That's my favorite. And the guy's got his head stuck down here like this. But all of them are going nowhere. So really for me, and I've talked to a lot of real good players about, my coach, Mark, I remember watching him practice, and he kind of looked like Annika, where, let me see if I can imitate him. Real good player up in Santa Barbara, and he would go through, and his head was already out here. And I was noticing that as a young, assistant at the club, and I went over, and I didn't want to interrupt his practice, but I did talk to him later about, I noticed that his head looked over here, and he said to me, and I felt rather stupid at this time, he says, what do you think, I'm going to miss the ball? I'm concerned on the line in which I'm starting it, so my eyes are watching that line, and then it made sense to me. I think video is fantastic it's a great tool for the professional. And all good players, they really look like this at impact. Well, it's a big difference between looking at it and feeling it. And I think, I'm a training aid guy. I'm not a video guy. So, this impact bag, it really gives me the feel of, oh, okay, that's how impact should feel. So what I have my slicers do is I have them set up and I have them do rehearsals, taking the club down the target string and actually going above the plane stick here. This is very foreign territory, but if I can get them to go above it, well then I can actually, and I have them do rehearsals watching and feeling. A lot of people have seen video of their swing, but they see how far over the top they are, but then this to me is really much more of a hands-on approach or tactile, or it's just, you can watch it and do some over-under drills and actually feel what you need to do rather than just watch it. And I have people going underneath it, or I should say over, so then they can actually get underneath it on the downswing and hit it from the inside. One of the things I see a lot of amateurs do throughout the years I've played is an endless amount of tinkering with swing thoughts on the golf course. It doesn't work. What most amateurs should do is try to simplify. You want to play golf, not golf swing. You want to get to the round early, hit some balls. That's your time to find your key for the day. The thing is, get your key, stay with that key all day, rather than endlessly tinkering with 4 different or 5 different things by the 9th hole. My swing depends a lot on rhythm and balance. So when I'm warming up, I try to really focus on staying smooth and balanced throughout my swing. And usually that works, and I do not change my swing key when I'm on the golf course.